Hello my fellow freedom builders and welcome back to the channel. As you know, this channel is all about building freedom, building financial freedom, and for that we need some different tools. And today I'm gonna show you a little tool that I'm pretty sure you don't know about. A few investors I have met actually know about it, so we're going to dive into this website called stockcharts.com. What I have here is a paid subscription. I think it is $15 per month, but they do have a free trial, so you can go in and test it. I'm not affiliated with them, but it is just stockcharts.com and then you can find it. All right, let's dive into it because this is something that I think can help a lot of you that need some good candidates in the market. So what we're going to do here in the stock charts, and I should say that there are also other platforms that have this little tool, but this is the only way, the only place I have found it where it is reasonable cheap. So what we're going to do here in member tools, we're going down here into something called RRG charts. All right, now what is that? Let me just show you here, and we have it here. Yes. RRG stands for Relative Rotation Graph, and it is actually a bit the same that I usually do when I'm looking at comparative relative strength, where I'm looking at if a stock is doing better or worse compared to, for instance, the index. So what we have here is a visualization of it, and first of all, this little matrix here, or this little graph, we can just make it a bit bigger here. This is where it is all going on here, and what you can see is that down here we have what is called the JDK relative strength ratio. There's a lot of explanation on the website how they do this, but basically this is telling you if a stock or any instrument you need to see if that is doing better or worse than what you compare it to. And then we have the relative strength momentum. So here we can see how fast this relative strength is moving. That can sound a bit cryptical, but you can go in here and you can search a lot more about it. But basically we're looking at momentum and we're looking at relative strength, and that is what I usually say. I want to see stocks that are moving and that they're moving faster than the overall market. So let's just see what is in this little neat tool here. First of all, we can select a group here. You can see right now the benchmark is SPX, that is S&P 500, and we can choose there's a lot of predefined things here. There are cryptos and there are commodities and all sorts of different things here. But let's just start up here and see the S&P 500 sector ETFs. That is the large ETFs you can see here. But let's just have a look at them. Now what we can see here, let's just make it so that we can see all of them. What you can see here is a lot of small worms. I can make them a bit longer, I can make them a bit smaller, but let's just take the SLE. The SLE here is the ETF, the Energy Select Sector fund here, and it's one of the large ones. So this is the energy ETF. All right, let's have a look at that one and mute the others. Now what this one tells us, if we are making a bit of a longer tail here, you can see right now I'm looking at a weekly, I'm looking at 12 weeks back. Here you can see that the movement in the relative strength and the momentum in the relative strength were going downwards here. So it was getting worse and worse and worse, and then it started to bottom out and it started to move a bit in the good direction. This is the lagging quadrant here. This is actually kind of the worst it can be in. Then when it moves up into the blue area here, you can see it says improving. Then we have leading and we have weakening. So that is the way this is moving. You can see here, if I go out into 30 weeks here, this is not the clearest of them, but you can see that it has its own life here where it moves around in these four quadrants. So what we can see here is that the XLE really have bottomed out here, and the XLE is of course where a lot of the energy stocks, the oil stocks and so on, they have been beaten pretty much down here. But let's have a look at a chart of the XLE. to see if it has moved in some interesting way. All right, let's see here. When did it start to bottom out? It did that somewhere 4 to 5 weeks ago. Let's go 4 to 5 weeks back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was around here that this little tool told us that now the momentum in the relative strength has started to shift. And if you go further back, we would probably also be able to see this move down. But let's just say that we now wanted to get into some stocks in the energy sector, because now we can see that this one is starting to move. If we wanted that, well, then we could go up here and we could say I want XLE members. Then it picks the 50 largest energy stocks in the ETF, and let's just push this one. And what you can see here now is that we have a lot of different stocks. You can see them down here in red, yellow, blue and green zone. And you can see that they're moving in circles. Let's just have a look here. This one gets a bit messy. Let's just take one of them. You can see here how it has moved over the last 30 weeks. So COG here, the Cabot Oil and Gas Corporation, has actually been one of the strongest in this group. Now, if we take a look at the chart here, I haven't really seen that. But as you can see, in a time where oil has actually been beaten down, this Cabot Oil has been moving upwards, sideways and upwards here. So what we can see here is that if we want to get into some of these stocks, then we can zoom in and we can try to find some of the stocks that are actually in the improvement zone. What I do here with this tool often is that I try to pick stocks that are in the improvement zone and moving up towards the leading zone. I don't really like the ones that have begun to tip off here. But let's just see if we can find one. We have this one, the HFC, Holy Frontier Corp. I don't really know how that one is looking, but you can see here that it started to go really bad for that one around, 22 weeks ago. And then it started to improve a lot, and something like 3 weeks ago we entered into blue territory. Okay, so let's have a look at it and see how this one is doing. Holy Frontier Corporation here. All right, so we can see that, what did we say, 22 weeks ago it started to move a bit down. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Around here, this indicator told us that this stock was about to worsen. It was actually a bit before that, but when we got down here in weakening, that is where we should really be careful, because then it is doing worse than the overall market, and this relative strength is accelerating downwards. So around here, from around here 22, 23 weeks ago, we knew that this might not be the stock we should hold right now. There might be some other leaders. And then again, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, this told us that it might be an idea to start having a little look at Holy Frontier again. And that was around here when it began to show some overall strength compared to the sector. So this is a tool where, let's just go in here again in the sectors here. Then we can see that XLB has just begun to move into blue territory here and is moving in the right direction. Now XLB, as you might know, is the materials here in the ETF. So let's have a look at some of the candidates from the XLB here. Now again, we have the 50 largest here, but if you want to put another one in, let's just say that you had some stock, it could also be another one than materials, you could just put a comma in and write the stock, and then it would be added. But right now we have the materials here, and we can start to see that there are some of them that are moving. And now we know that we are in a sector that is doing great, improving compared to the S&P 500. So now we want the stocks that are improving towards the XLB, because then we have a sector that is moving fast, and then we have the stocks that are moving the fastest within the sector. So we have some DD and SEE here, and then you can start to pick them one by one and start to see the DD. We have this one here. All right, then you can start to look at that, and in my normal trend following method, this one would still be a bit too much in a downtrend, but this gives me some early signals where I can start to look at it, and I might be able to see, well, here, let's just see how many weeks was that. That was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago it went into blue territory here, improving. All right, then I might be able to shift to my daily chart here to see if there's something that tells me I could buy this one. It could be that if you have seen the video about the relative strength indicator the other day, then you know that when that is above 50, I say that it is in an uptrend. So you might go to the daily chart and say, hey, this one is looking better and better over here. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, it is moving in the right direction. All right. Then let's move 3 or 4 weeks back to see is there anything promising here. And it could be, and now I'm just saying what I might be looking for in a shorter swing trade. We saw a break up through the 20-day moving average. It retraced down and touched it here and spiked away from it. And at the same time, the RSI tipped and crossed above the 50 line here on the RSI. So this might be a sign that we do have a stock with in a relative strong sector, and the stock is starting to show some relative strength towards its own sector. And now we're getting a good entry signal here on a daily chart. We might have gotten in here around 40. I'm just it is always easier to see this in hindsight, of course, but let's just say we went into a 40, and we might say that if it closed below the 20 SMA, we would go out again. So there might have been, if it closed down here, we might get some 5% swing trading gain here. That could be one way. I know some, and among them, the inventor on this chart, I can't remember his name. He has some Dutch name, I think it is. But he is working in the finance sector, and he's using this for sector rotation to see what sectors should we move into, what sectors should we move out of. We could take one more of these. We could take the EMN. It just tipped in here, EMN. Let's just see here. That is the Eastman Chemical. Let's just put that in here, EMN. Here we go. And we see about the same here. It started to, let's just have, so we only have the EMN here. Someone might want it to see it, to start looking at it when it has turned here. That's a bit a question of how aggressive you are. But if you did that, then 3 or 4 weeks ago, well, then you could start looking for an entry somewhere here. I think I might not have taken it because on a weekly chart, it was still a bit too much in negative territory. But then again, right now, pretty much everything is above their own long moving averages because of the harsh downturn here. So this is a little tool that you can play around with. And as I said, you can also put anything else in. You can put all the major indices in here. We have the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, we have the small cap, the mid cap, so on, the Wilshire 5000, and then we can start to see if there's some of them that are actually doing better. Are we seeing some small caps that are starting to move or starting to drop? We could also go in here and we could see, let's just take the, let's see, didn't they have the crypto down here? Crypto USD base. Then we have all of the most widely traded here. Actually, many of them I don't really know, but let's just say we wanted to look at Bitcoin to US dollars here. Then we could see that it has been in a long downturn here. Right now it is just compared. If you type a $sign and then just 1, then it is actually just it's not comparing to any one specific indice. It's just taking compared to a 0 or 1, and so you're actually just comparing them to each other here. So the Bitcoin seems to be turning a bit here over the last couple of weeks. And you can have a look at many of the others. This is actually the one, Bitcoin, sorry. This is the one here that's been turning over the last couple of weeks here and might be moving into some better territory. So this is a little tool. You can use it if you like to. Again, I'm not affiliated with these guys, but it is a really neat little tool. And as I said, they have, I think it's a 14-day or 1-month trial period where you can test it and see if it is something for you. And if it is, you can get it in the cheapest version of their subscription, and that is I think it is just around $15 per month. All right, so that was a little tool for the toolbox. If you like the video, then please consider to subscribe to the channel and like the video down there. And if you do have any questions whatsoever about the tool, about investing altogether, then please feel free to write in the comment section. I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon. Take care of yourself and take care of your money out there. Bye for now.